Alright, welcome back everybody. This is BC, turn 18 of Roots Bloody Roots. And I'm going to go through the messages briefly and then kind of take a high level stock of where we're at. So, found some sites in the Yellow Mountains. You'll see I've already started moving some stuff around. Supply points, nature gems, and some sites over here. Forest of Delights. Gotta check out this great bear and this moose. That could be nice. I mean, my sister was bitten by a moose once. And we already knew about the ruins of the old empire. Let's see. How much does this hedge wizard? This hedge wizard is a nice cheap researcher, so I'll probably end up recruiting a bunch of those guys. I'm building a temple here and a palisades. I'm actually out of money for right now. But all of these palisades should start providing some extra income. Sending this scout here to bounce off of this throne and hopefully retreat to one of these two provinces. Ariu is going to claim these. I've expressed my intention to grab the throne for myself. This throne is really important to me. Why is it important? Well, Bone Tribe, they have, besides the fact that it's a throne and thrones are just valuable, Bone Tribe have death with either an air or an earth crosspath, and both of those are really valuable to me. Death Air lets me build a bunch of unpoisonable corpseman chaff that I can have in front while everybody behind them gets poisoned from foul vapors. And Death Earth lets me build Shademail Halbergans, which will let me sneak around some scary dudes later on in the game. So I definitely really want this throne. I'll fight someone for this throne, but I shouldn't have to fight someone for this throne if I can just keep an eye on its neighbors. I can't scry on anybody this turn because I need to get all of my research points because I have 6 points more than the amount that I need to get Construction 2. And the reason I want Construction 2 is because I did recruit this guy, and I don't know, maybe I should have looked him up before just bidding on him. But he's got some air gems that he will not give up. I don't actually know what'll happen when I try to forge some owl quills with him, but I'm going to give that a go. The absolute worst would be if he steals my air gems and keeps the owl quill for himself, but I don't think that'll happen. Regardless, my research is pretty low for this time of the game, and that's just mainly due to the fact that I spent a couple turns moving mages around rather than building more, and I was a little slow to palisade. That's due to economic difficulties. Which, c'est la vie. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it now. I'm going to need to test to make sure that my god can take on the defense of the Ocean of Our Lord here, but assuming that she can, then that will be a nice thing to expand and do. Finally working to pray those guys away. And basically, I'm going to send a bunch of troops in to hit this throne. Secondarily, you recall that I got this hero a few turns ago. One thing that I did not realize about this hero until I was playing in another game and saw it happen. In battle, they will let out a great howl and call coyotes for miles. What this means is that he autocasts Howl at the beginning of every battle, which is very nice. So I definitely want him in on this throne battle when I go and send some troops in, because his Howl will distract all of the, well, hopefully distract all of the bone shamans in the back and make this a much easier province for me to take. It's coming up on winter, and I'm not going to be able to go over the mountain to get in there during the winter, so I'll just have to go around it. That is what it is. This I got this peasant who, funny enough, he's got a bunch of cave drakes or fire drakes following him around. So I think that's pretty hilarious. Asphodel built the palisades here to the surprise of no one. So my last real expansion, like uncontested, well, where I don't have to fight anybody, is this throne and this space over here. I don't know if Rugo has made it all the way over here or not, because I don't have any scouts in the water. But that's my last expansion that I can do without fighting somebody. So the $10,000 question is, who am I going to fight? And someone might be thinking, well, BC, how come you haven't fought someone yet? The short answer is I haven't needed to. And I haven't been in a position to win an early war. And if you're not in a position to win an early war, you probably shouldn't be fighting one. Now, I've got non-aggression pacts with all of my neighbors, with Abysia, with Ryugojo, with Eriu, with Jotunheim, with Pelagia, with Asphodel, and I've kind of whispered to each of them about, hey, we might attack this person, or we might attack that person. Really, I'll accept more or less any coalition. I'm not interested in slogging it out 1v1 versus somebody because, well, despite how honorable that may be, that doesn't seem to be a winning strategy in Dominions. Who might we end up beating up on? Fighting Jotunheim it'd be a pretty safe affair, I'd like to think. We wouldn't really be able to raid each other back and forth because, well, there's only this one strip of land to fight over. My only allies would be a heretofore undiscovered person on the other side of Jotunheim, or one of the water nations. But that could allow me to claim some land. I like that prospect from the fact that it's low risk. Like, I want to have a nice, compact, easily defensible empire. And Jotunheim does not expand my front considerably. So that's one thing to consider. Abysia, I'm still going to end up grabbing Enchantment 5 and getting Foul Vapors. As I mentioned, I'm making a detour through Construction. I might go all the way up to Construction 4, but Foul Vapors is still very much part of the plan. And I can't think of a great counter that Abysia has to Foul Vapors, other than assassinating my commanders who are casting it. So that's an option that's on the table. If I fight Abysia is large and scary. I would want to get Asphodel in on that at the very least, and maybe Eriu as well. Asphodel, it's kind of a worse Jotunheim for me to fight. First, they're a pop kill nation, so there's just going to be less loot for me to claim from them. And second, the terrain is really not favorable to it. If I were to march through Asphodel, then I'd basically have this snake of territory through here that would be easy to cut in half and cut my empire in half. So, not really feeling Asphodel. Ryugojo, I could push them off the land, I guess. Not only is Ryugojo just tough in general, like they're a really powerful nation, but I don't stand much to gain. So, and then Eriu. Eriu is big and scary. They're scary mostly because of their size, but if I recall correctly, they also have a lot of cool stealthy options. Let me go ahead and look and see exactly what they've got. Once, twice, thrice. Oh yeah, because he's got a thrice horn boar, which is hilarious. Sailing Prince. So this guy is a sneaky, dominant thug. I guess thugging with him is expensive, but I mean, he's sneaky and dominant. He has lightning. I have some lightning resistance, but I mean, thunder strikes will still mess me up. I'm told that he has poison resist for his bless. Fire resist was not part of that, so if I'm fighting Aryu, then poison arrows or flaming arrows would be the main way that I would fight him. Let's see. That's another sneaky guy with all sorts of wild cards. Although I don't know which of these they'd be recruiting more of. This guy, he joins in on the thunder striking fun. Definitely also a sneaky, thuggable guy. So the theme here, and you probably already know this as a viewer, is they are some sneaky bastards. Which means that a war with Aryu, which, I mean, if I want to win, I'll probably have to fight them sometime, but a war with Aryu will probably involve a lot of raiding. On the flip side, if I'm fighting Aryu, like if I'm even considering it, my partner in the war would be Abysia. Which means two things. One, I'd have a pretty narrow front with them, which means that they wouldn't actually be able to raid me that much. They'd have some guys sneak over behind, but they would be running into my reinforcements. And I don't think that their raiding party would be able to beat my reinforcement party. The flip side is that then I would become this super skinny empire going however far me and Abysia negotiated, which is not great. I'm told Satis is somewhere around here. I still haven't gotten a scout over there, and most of my scouts, well, it wasn't until later that I found a scout province. And additionally, most of my scouts were keeping an eye on any Abyssian movements. That's the other thing about Aryu. I don't actually know how much strength they're projecting because all their troops are stealthy. So if I could pick an enemy to fight, and with no distractions, the world went dramatically exactly as I hoped, it would be either Jotunheim or Abysia. Bearing that in mind, I'm not fighting anybody until I get Foul Vapors, unless they decide to fight me, in which case I'll ramp up Foul Vapors, and that's just the way it's going to be. So, at some point, someone is going to start a war. And the other thing that I need to make very sure is that I'm not gangbanged by all of my neighbors. So this would probably be a pincher attack between Abysia and Jotunheim. I already know how I would fight Abysia. The question would be whether Jotunheim would want to do that. I guess alternatively it could be one of the water nations like Pelagia. I don't know if Abysia has even been talking to Pelagia. I have to assume that they have. We'll see where things go. Obviously, if everything goes horrible for me and Pelagia and Jotunheim and Abysia all decide to attack me, then I just lose. But the odds of that happening should be pretty low. Knock on wood. So that's a lot of murmuring about the geopolitical situation. Still kind of waiting for the moment when the iron is hot. But that moment will come and it will be awesome. So until then, still ramping up our research, really working on getting our economy into the second gear. and we'll continue apace turn 19. See you then.